Om Vakratunda Mahakaya
Vakratundamahakaya Suryakoti
Suryakoti
Samaprabha
Samaprabha Nirvignam
Nirvignam
Kurume
Kuru Me
Deva
Deva
Sarvakaryeshu
Sarvakaryeshu
Sarvada
Sarvada
Saraswati
Saraswati
Namastubhyam
Namostubhyam
Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham
Nirambam
Karishyami
Karishyami
Siddhir
Siddhir
Bhavatu Me
Bhavatu
Sada Gurur
Guru
Brahma
Brahma Guru
Gurur
Vishnu
Vishnu
Guru
Gurudevo
Devo
Maheshwaraha
Maheshwaraha
Guru
Guru
Sakshat
Sakshat
Param
Param
Brahma
Brahma
Tasmai
Tasmai
Shri
Shri
Gurave
Gurave
Namaha
Namaha.
Apara
Om
Karuna Sindhum
Nasidhum
Jnanadham Shantarupinam
Jnanadarum
Shri
Shri
Chandrasekhara
Chandrasekhara
Gurum
Guru
Pranamami
Pranamami
Mudanvaham
Yat
Yatkripalesha Matrena
Matre
Puman Purnah Prajayate Tam
Tham
Bande Brahma Vidhuryam
Vidura
Sadgurum
Sadhu
Chandrasekharam Om
Om
Sahana
Sahana
Bhavatu
Bhavatu Sahano
Sahano Bhunaktu
Saha Viryam
Sahaviryam
Karavavahai
Karavavahay Tejasvina
Tejasvinavadhetamastu
Vadhetamastu
ma
Ma
Vishavahay.
Vidvishavahay Om
Om
Shanti
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 Shanti Shanti.
Shanti Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha
Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha.
Atah Shashtodhyayah
अथ षष्ठोऽध्यायः
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Shloka number 28, 27th shloka we saw in the last class. Now 28. Yunjan evam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha
युञ्जन्नेवं सतात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः
sukhena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukhamashnute.
सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमाश्नुते.
In contrast to the previous shloka here, in the previous shlokas, Uttamam Sukham Yoginam Upaiti, and the Yoginam qualified by all these words, Shantamanasam, Shanta Rajasam, Brahma Bhutam, Akalmasham. Now here, Yogi Atyantam Sukham Ashnute. The Yogi, the here it is Dhyana Yogi, that is Jnana Yogi, the one who meditates, who does Nididhyasana. Atyantam Sukham Ashnute. Brahma Sansparasham Atyantam. Happiness because of, born because of Brahma Samsparasham. Brahma Samsparsha is contact. Here what contact? Brahma contact. Here it is recognition. The happiness, Atyantam Sukham, Ananda, which is Swarupa of Brahma, knowing Brahma, therefore there is happiness. Agam Brahma, therefore Agam Ananda Swarupaha, that is the Sukham, Ashnute, which is Swarupa Sukham, Ashnute, he gains easily. Sukhena. Sukhena also is a Sukham also. Sukhena is adverbial. Sukhena easily he gains. Vigata Kalmashaha, being free from Kalmasha. Sadatmanam Yunjan, always placing the mind on the object of contemplation, that is Atma. Atma Samstamana Kurutva, as we saw in the 25th shloka. It's the same here also. Atmanam. Atmanam is mind. Sada Yunjan. With the Dhyayavastu, that is Atma, this yogi who is free from Kalmasha, Papa, or Kalmasha could be free from doubts, free from Viparita Bhavana, free from conflicts, easily he recognizes, gains the vision that of that Aham Brahma iti. Because free from obstacles, obstacles are handled, taken care, mananam and nididhyasanam. Mananena samshaya nivritti, nididhyasana, all the viparita bhavana. Therefore, Brahma Samsparsham. Aham Brahma iti, that is a samsparsha. Samsparsha literally means contact. Here there is no physical contact because it is not another thing to have contact. Contact is possible only when there is a second. Here it is Brahma itself. Brahma having contact with Brahma. As Atma Aham Brahma, therefore knowing Aham Brahma iti, that is a samsparsha. Atyantam Sukam Ashnute. So all these words of limitation, we have to use words to express this. Ashnute means gains. What does he gain? Does he gain anything? Any object? It is not gaining. It is gaining the gain, in fact. So Swarupa. Agam Atma, that is that Swarupa Sukam. Agam Atma iti Jnanam. That Jnanena Sukam Ashnute. There is no special or extra Sukam. Atma is Sukam, Atma Sukam, Swarupa Sukam. Ashnute. So Yogi Atyantam Sukam Ashnute. Previous shloka it was Sukam Uttamam Sukam Yoginam Upaiti. So that is what we saw in the last class. In either way, it is correct, as we shall see in the next shloka. That is Uttama Sukha. Uttama, in the previous shloka, Uttama Sukha is a subject of the sentence, and therefore it reaches, that is the object, the one who, the person whom it reaches, that is the object. Uttamam Sukham Yoginam Upaiti. But generally we think of Uttama Sukha as something to be gained. But here it is said that Uttama Sukham reaches a person, which is a different thing altogether. Therefore, you become the subject, that is the yogi. The meditator becomes the subject, and the Ananda becomes the meditator becomes the object, and Ananda becomes the subject. In the previous shloka, 27th shloka. Now the question may arise: does Ananda reach me, or do I reach Ananda? Both way can be said. Either way, it is correct only. Ananda reaches you, or you gain Ananda, you reach Ananda. So the previous shloka, Ananda reaches a person. Now it is said that the person gains Ananda. So either way it is correct, as we shall see in the shloka, 20th shloka. The meditator, free from the conflicts of dharma. Vigata kalmashaha. Kalmashaha is adharma. Kalmasha is conflict. Kalmasha, because of conflict there is papa, there is adharma. Therefore all these have gone from whom? That person, yogi. That yogi, the meditator, Yunjan, Yujdat, connecting. What? Atman. Here Atmanam is not Sachit Ananda Atma, here Atma is mind. So placing the mind in Atma, connecting the mind in this manner to the Dhyaya Vastu, that is Atma. So mind is also Atma, Atma is Atma. So Atmanam, uniting the mind, placing the mind on the Dhyaya Vastu Atma, and recognizing that Atma, the knower known, and the knowledge are not separate from me. Therefore, the yogi gains Sukham, Brahma Samsparsham Sukham, that is a Sukham. Gains happiness, which is Atyantam. Atyantam total. It means it is Purnaha. Purnatvat, therefore it is Swarupa. Swarupa is, it is one self, Swarupa Sukha. Atmanaha. Atma is Sukham. Atmanaha Sukham also we cannot say. Not Sukham, that something belongs to Atma. Atma is Sukha Swarupaha. So that is Brahma Samsparsham, because Brahma, Atma, they are not different. Therefore, Brahma Samsparsham, born of the contact. Here there is no physical contact. It is always in contact. In fact, there is no contact. It is figuratively, it is used as though a thing is connected, having contact with another thing. Because here meditation is involved. Before the meditation, there is a knower and the known. But in the meditation, they all become one. Fusion takes place in terms of knowledge. That is the samsparsha. The previous shloka, the karta, the subject was Uttama Sukha, 27th shloka. Uttamam Sukham Upaiti, Yoginam Upaiti. So Uttama Sukha was a subject, and the object was the yogi, a dhyana yogi, the meditator, who receives the Sukha. So Sukha reaches the yogi. Whereas in this shloka, the karta is yogi, the subject is yogi. Yogi atyantam sukham ashnute. Karta was a yogi, the karta is a yogi, and the object gained is atyantam sukham. Atyantam being a synonym for uttama. So in the previous shloka it was uttama, and here it is atyantam. Same. Atyantam absolutely. Uttamam superior. Greatest. There is nothing greater than that. So same meaning. Why does Bhagavan say this sukha reaches a yogi in the previous in the shloka, and here the yogi gains it in the next? Does this mean there is some confusion about who is a karta and who is a karma? No. He expresses the result of contemplation in both senses to resolve whatever confusion there may be in fact. So both way it can be said. By saying Uttama Sukha reaches a yogi, the yogi becomes the object. Now, does that mean that Ananda comes and overwhelms the person? If so, there is a problem. It means the meditator is drowned in Ananda. In other words, Ananda got the person. The meditator becomes the subject. Ananda is the meditator becomes the object. Ananda is a subject. Therefore, Ananda gets hold of him. When one looks at it this way, the person seems to be an object, which is not so. The person is only subject in the world. There is only subject and there is no object. Atma alone, that is the second thing. So the person is the only subject in the world. And therefore, the yogi, the meditator, he or she cannot be the object. To make this clear, now in this shloka, Bhagavan puts it in the other way, saying that the yogi gains ananda. So previous shloka, yogi was a subject. Now previous shloka, yogi was the object. In this shloka, he is a subject. Therefore, the notion that yogi is the object is dismissed. Not is neither the object nor the subject, because it is yogi alone, Atma alone is. Therefore, to make this clear, Bhagavan puts it in another way, saying that yogi gains ananda, uttama sukha, which means the difference between karta and karma not there. Subject object not there. When the object is, subject is. When there is no subject, when there is no object, subject is. In fact, subject we cannot say when there is no object. What it is. Atma alone is. Atma is neither the subject or the object. So that is why Bhagavan intelligently presenting that. If the doubt arises, if the yogi is the object, that is resolved by saying in this shloka, presenting yogi as the subject. So therefore, yogi, that is Atma, is neither the karta or the karma. Karta is the doer, karma is action. Karma is the object here, no, not the action. Karma is not the action, it means it is grammar karma, object, grammatical karma. So Atma is neither the karta nor the karma. Atma cannot be the subject of action. Atma cannot be the object of action. The second shloka, the second chapter itself, this idea was presented. When in the beginning itself, Bhagavan presented Atma. So there itself, he said, that is the Najayate Mriyate va kadachit. Nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuyaha. No, not that one. Nayam hanti nahanyate. Yenam veti antaram yaschainam hanyate atam. Ubhautana vijanitaha nayam hanti nahanyate. Atma cannot be the object of action. Atma cannot do action. So both the kartritvam and this karmatvam were negated with regard to Atma. Resolving the difference between the subject and the object. That is the topic. So ubhautana vijanitaha nayam hanti nahanyate. So can be connected. Second chapter shloka. There is no really difference between karta and karma. Just as there is no difference between the river and the ocean at the point where the river reaches the ocean. So karta and karma, if they are real, then the karakas are real. If karakas are real, then the Vedas are real. Therefore, karta and karma, there is no difference. Because everything is Brahma. Brahmarpanam Brahma Vihi. Brahma Agno Brahmana Utam. Brahma Ivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. All the karakas are Brahma. So karta is Brahma, karma is Brahma. Then what is the difference between karta and karma? Therefore, you cannot tell whether the ocean receives the river or the river reaches the ocean. The meeting point is so in Ganga Sagar in Bengal, where the Ganga flows into the ocean, but there it's very difficult to make out whether the ocean receives the river or the river reaches the ocean. In the confluence of river and ocean, you will find that the river is all salt for miles. Therefore, it looks as though the ocean is entering the river. Who is a Karta then? Does the ocean enter into the river or the river reaches the ocean? Who is a karma? We don't know. Sometimes we say the river reaches the ocean, at other times we say the ocean reaches the river. So here also, the Karta who gains the Ananda, Yogi Atyantam Sukhamashnate, doesn't see an Ananda other than himself or herself. That is important. The Ananda is himself, Sarupa. Therefore, the subject and the object are one and the same. Karta eva karma, the previous shloka also. Uttamam Sukham Yogir Mupaiti, Karta and karma are the same. This is unlike any other thing. It is a knowledge of oneself. Thus, the two shlokas are to be read together. The present shloka, Atmanam Yunjan, Yujdatu, means connecting, uniting the mind. When two things are there, separated, can be connected. But here what is, because meditation is involved. In the meditation, the mind should be made to contemplate on Atma. So therefore, that is a connection. The word evami, meaning in this manner, indicates what the mind is connected to, what the dhyaya vishaya, dhyana vishaya is. Meaning that it is united with the knowledge that Atma alone is indeed everything. So, the knower, known, and knowledge, that dhyata, the meditator, meditated in the meditation, Atma alone. Atma alone is indeed everything. Aham eva idam sarvam. Brahma eva idam sarvam, that Brahma aham asmi, aham eva idam sarvam, I alone, this, everything. So all the differences, the three differences, Triputi Beda, resolves. And uniting the mind with the object of contemplation, knowing this, knowledge, the meditator against Atyantam Sukham, Uttama Sukha. The person is called a yogi, here to indicate that his or her contemplation is successful. The yogi means he has achieved success in his attempt to appreciate this vision. Therefore, the yogi, the meditator, who is free from obstacles. Vigata Kalmashaha. Again, the person is further described as one who is free from adharma. Free from adharma means free from dharma also. Adharma means papa. Free from papa. What about punya? Punya also equally binds as papa. Both binds. Both are the punya papa are the cause for punarjanma. So one is the iron chain, other one is the gold chain. So therefore, free from dharma, adharma. Adharma meaning papa, dharma meaning punya. So free from papa punya. Vigata kalmashaha. So vigataha kalmashaha yasmat saha. It's a compound, bhuvrihi, referring to the person, the yogi. Because how one lives one's life is very important to the success of one's meditation. A successful meditator, yogi, is one whose daily life is free from adharma. Life according to ethical values renders a person free from obstacles. Because the ethical life, because of the ethical life, the person is free from guilt and hurt. So they are the obstacles. So free from obstacles in the form of conflicts, guilt and hurt. So therefore, Vigata Kalmashaha san yogi Atyantam Sukham Ashnute. A Vigata Kalmasha is one who is free from the conflicts born of adharma, and that Vigata Kalmasha, the yogi, gains Atyantam Sukham. Atyanta Sukha, because it is Atyanta, therefore it cannot be experienced. Because it is Swarupa, Atyanta, Uttama. If it is experiential, then it cannot be Uttama, Atyanta. As already been said, Atyanta Sukha is a Sukha that is not comparable to the degrees of Sukha that you gather. This is where people make mistakes and talk about eternal bliss, etc. The Sukha is not eternal bliss, it is one's nature, Swarupa. If it is translated eternal bliss, it is Swarupa. At least one should understand if this translation is made eternal bliss, the bliss which lasts forever, it means it is Swarupa. To refer to Swarupa Sukha as bliss means it means that it is experiential. So when it is translated as bliss, so it becomes experiential. Therefore, the translation has some limitation. The Sukha is not experiential. therefore it is not bliss. So to say it is not subject to limitation, therefore the word eternal is used. Eternal means, what is it eternal? How long? Forever. Forever means there is no time at all. Eternal implies time for long period or forever. Forever means time is involved, space is involved. So all these limitations walk in. When you say Swarupa, there is no time. So therefore, it is Swarupa Sukham. So the word, the translation, bliss brings a connotation of experience. So therefore, it is better not to translate as eternal bliss and all. Then comes the question: what is this eternal bliss? And how can I get it? Because it is eternal bliss. Therefore, getting involved, you have to get it. Not understanding what eternal bliss is. All this confusion may arise. Even when Sukha is translated as bliss, eternal bliss. If it is something that you gain, suppose you gain, because it is gain, therefore it will last only for a short period of time. Then how can you call it eternal bliss? When you say eternal bliss, then it cannot be gained. It should not be gained. It is not available for gaining. It has to be oneself. If it is asked how it is gained, then it is not eternal bliss. It becomes something experiential. If it is something experiential, then there is no knowledge, no jnanam. Then what is this atyanta sukha? The shloka itself defines it as Brahma samsparsha. Brahma samsparsha atyantam sukham. Brahma samsparsham atyantam sukham. The sukha that is born out of samsparsha, translated as recognizing Brahma. That is the contact, samsparsha, Brahma. Whenever you touch something pleasant, the sukha you get is sparsha sukha. Matra sparsha stukaunteya. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. In the second chapter, Bhagavad said, there are also sparsha. And here also Brahma samsparsha. Does this mean that by contacting Brahma, by hugging Brahma, by embracing Brahma, you gain atyantam sukham? No. Brahma is not an object available for hugging. If it is an object and you are the subject, if at all Brahma is an object, then the sukha is experiential sukha, subject to limitation. Then it cannot be atyantika. So Brahma is a word used by the Shastra for revealing oneself as a whole. Because of the knowledge, the Atma is Brahma, there is sukha, and that is called Brahma samsparsha sukha. A sukha which is born of the contact of Brahma, meaning recognition of Atma as Brahma. Agam Atma Brahma Asmi, that is a Brahma samsparsham, that is the Brahma Anubhava, that is the Aparoksha Anubhuti. This sukha belongs to Brahma. It is the very nature of Brahma. Swarupa Brahma, Sachit Anandaha Brahma. Therefore, it is called Swarupa Sukha. Swarupa Sukha is not a Sukha because it is Swarupa, therefore it is not, Swarupa Sukha, it's not experiential. So Swarupa Sukha is not a Sukha that is experiential. It is a Sukha that is recognized as the nature, Swarupa of every form of Sukha. In any form of Sukha that you get, the Sukha is because of Swarupa Sukha. The wholeness that is the nature of Brahma. Behind every Sukha, there is Atma. There is a pleased person, the pleased self. That is Swarupa Sukha. So, any form of Sukha, even the Vyavahara, the experiential Sukha, behind every experiential Sukha, this Swarupa Sukha, Atma is there, therefore Swarupa Sukham is there. Minus Swarupa Sukham, there cannot be experiential Sukham also, because every experiential happiness is for the sake of the pleased self. It's for the sake of pleased self. Therefore, the self is ever pleased. In the experience of happiness, that inhibitions are temporarily removed. Therefore, one experiences, one is without inhibition. Therefore, one feels ananda, one feels happiness. That is Swarupa Sukha. Therefore, behind every experiential Sukha, there is Atma, and that for Swarupa Sukham. That wholeness, that is the nature of Brahma. So, born out of the knowledge that the self is Brahma, therefore, the meditator is said to have gained this Swarupa Sukham. So gain, again gain means not physical gain, it is in terms of knowing, cognition. Swarupa Sukha. Bliss always come to an end. Anything which are experiential, that comes to an end. Because here it is Swarupa, therefore doesn't come to an end because it is Swarupa, it is oneself. In his commentary to the shloka, Bhagavad says that Atyanta Sukha is that which doesn't come to an end. If the Sukha were bliss, then it would come to an end. Because any experience has a limit. Because bliss is finite Sukha and not Atyantika Sukha, therefore, and not Atyantika Sukha transcends all limits. The limits of degrees or the limits of time. Such limits do not exist for the Sukha. There is one's very nature because Swarupa Sukha can never be experiential Sukha. For Sukha to be experiential, there must be particular condition of the mind, condition of the sense organs. It depends on the upadhi, and that condition always will change also because it is within time. The condition will not remain the same. To have the repeated experience, conditions change. Therefore, sukham, the degrees of sukham also changes. That is why we have priya, moda, pramoda, the degrees of happiness. Since it is within time, therefore, experiential sukha is not eternal. It is not eternal. But in every sukha, there is a swarupa, there is the truth, that is the nature of Atma, which is free from any form of limitations. So every sukha is swarupa sukha, but not swarupa sukha is not Vishaya sukha. It is not a Vishaya. So this limitlessness, wholeness, Purnatvam, implied by the non-separation of the knower from all that is known, this understanding is what is called Tintas. It is called Sparsha. The firm understanding that Aham, Sarvam, Ahamasmi is a Swarupa Sukha, that is a Brahma Samsparsha, referred to in this shloka as Uttama Sukha and Atyanta Sukha. Atyanta Sukha. And being the very nature of Atma, being the very Swarupa of Atma, therefore it cannot come to an end. It doesn't arise and therefore doesn't come to an end. It is Anadi, it is Nantaha. As long as Atma is, that is, as long as Atma is only an expression, Atma is ever, Sukha is there, and Atma beyond time, therefore it is eternal. Therefore, what effort is required to gain Swarupa Sukha? Because it is Swarupa, no effort. Only the effort is, or if at all efforts required only to remove the obstacles. And how is the Sukha gained? We always ask this question because generally, the more one does in the world, the more one gains. That is our Anubhava. The more you work, the more benefit, the more Ananda, the more you work for happiness, the more happiness you get. The more you work on something, the greater the result. This being a rule. Adhikasya adhikam palam. That is a rule in the world. This being a rule very well known to us. Because of that orientation. Therefore, we ask this question, how much one should do to gain this infinite sukha? Infinite sukha. Therefore, infinite karma? No, karma cannot be infinite. Karma is, by Swarupa, it is limited. How can be infinite? Non-ending karma. So therefore, the logic we have for finite situations in this finite world doesn't work here. So adhikasya adhikam palam, that doesn't work here. The more you work, the more you get. It doesn't work here. There is no limit. In fact, if karma were infinite, you could not even blink because blinking like any action is finite. So if karma is infinite, then how will you blink? Therefore, if you have to do infinite karma, you would do no karma at all. Therefore, infinite karma doesn't exist. Just like yes, a square circle. In fact, no karma is involved here. Therefore, no karma is involved in gaining atyanta sukha, as Bhagavan indicates here by saying sukhena. The adverbial sukhena means easily, without tears, without sweat. Advaita without tears. Advaita without sweat. Sukhena easily, because the sukha is yourself. The self is Brahma, and atyanta sukha is born out of the recognition of this fact. Agam Atma Brahma iti. Naturally, then this is gained easily. There is no effort, physical effort involved. Generally, in order to gain sukha, we have to do something. Karma is involved. That almost always involves some dukkha, also pain also. Because prayatna, effort is involved, therefore some pain. For example, if you see a man packing and you ask him where is he going, he may say, I am going to Hawaii. When you ask him why, he will say to get some sukha. On the way to airport, he runs into a traffic jam and becomes upset, dukkha. On arriving at the airport, there are more problems and more dukkha. At the Hawaii airport, he finds that his baggage did not come, therefore dukkha. Even at the hotel, there is dukkha for him because the travel agency did not book a room for him as arranged. All the way therefore there is dukkha for what? To get sukha in Hawaii. Just to gain a little sukha, to get some sun and some fun, he has to undergo all this dukkha. And every day he is there. It rains. On the day the sky clears, he has to catch a plane. Therefore his holiday is over. This then is what we call alpa sukha. So much effort, so much invested, so much dukkha for a little sukha. Whereas here, how much effort is required? How much dukkha is involved for atyanta sukha? All the way it is pleasant. Pleasantly, sukhena, easily, the person discovers. Ashnute gains, discovers. The very inquiry is pleasant because the Shastra says you are the whole. So therefore it is pleasant. You are limited. Shastra says, then one may feel dukkha, but Shastra says you are the whole. You cannot be improved upon. You are complete. What sukham can be more than that? It doesn't say you are an idiot or a sinner. It says you are everything. That not seeing it is idiocy. Therefore, listening to the Shastra is pleasant indeed. Shravanam. No one tells you that you are everything, that you are the whole. Only the Shastra accepts you totally. Therefore, the prophets and the great gurus do not accept you. Your father and mother having their own ends to accomplish through you, you certainly do not accept you. Parents always want their children to be something other than what they are. Thus, no one accepts you totally except the Shastra. Because no one accepts you, also don't accept yourself. But the Shastra says you are ever accepted. So, therefore, Shastra says you are the whole. You are that which can be improved upon. You are Purnaha iti. That is the vision of the Shastram. So that the next topic, vision of the Shastram, we will see tomorrow. We'll stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha
Hare Om. Dhanyavadaha.
Dhanyavadaha.